Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be really quiet here because it's like 2 a.m. and my wife is sleeping. So I have 65 Arcane Resist, and I had a mage actually go get the talents that they were saying would affect the sheep, like, lower my Arcane Resistance. And I'm still breaking out of it relatively quickly. So I'm just gonna hit the record button, um, and we'll just keep it going. All right. Yeah. Jeez, this mage is messing around. Do 6. All right, we got it sorted. Jesus, mage is having way too much fun over there. OCD and such. So yeah, I basically had a druid put Mark of the Wild on me, and yeah, so we're at 65 right now. As you can see, he says he has the talents. I'll have him put on the rune and see if that makes any difference. But I had one that broke like super quickly. Jesus, do I gotta explain DR to this guy? Like, what the balls? What was I thinking about? Try the rune as well. Alright, cool. This is like the worst dance partner. Come on, bro. You can do it. You can. I have faith. You can do it. Cast away, and I can't use the word P. Okay. Okay, cool. Alright, so now he has the rune for like the 6%. He's got the talents for the 10%. He's probably got a bunch of hit gear. And I'm still breaking out of this stuff. Hell yeah. Okay, so pretty sure he can cast now. We suck. No. Do. Do. Alright, so we taught our boy something. Alright, let's log out really fast here. Cool. Cuckoo choo. Yeah, so as you can see, it's like 3 a.m. here, and I couldn't sleep because I needed to. Actually, what happened was the damn dogs woke me up. They were like fighting over a bone. So they got yelled at, and here we are. I'll try cupping the mic and see what that does, but there might be some air back. Yeah, so the TLDR on all this was, let me turn on the VPN here, was that my, that's not working, like what's going on here? I'll only pause the video and pull up Discord really fast, and I can explain the situation over here. Alright, so check this out. So Minnow's basically been telling me in my Discord like how sheep mechanics work. As near as I can tell, as far as what he was saying, is that mages in the first row of the arcane tree basically have a five skill points they can put in, which makes their arcane spells 10% less likely to be resisted, and that has some interesting mechanics, along with like spell hit and other mechanics that make it so that it basically acts like a metric ton of spell penetration. Like that 10% is actually worth, let me think, like 40 spell pen practically on top of everything else. When I look at my Discord stuff, like this is our boy right here. He keeps going on and on and on and on about it as well. As Tim Pool, Mr. Beanie Boy himself. Sometimes I think Tim Pool is gaslighting the hell out of us, man. Like, damn, alright, but moving on. Let's see here. Right. So he goes into a very long spiel about how it actually works. But at the same time, nobody really tested like how the binary mechanics work. So the question is, did it affect binary at all? Because we have tested whether or not it makes the sheep go off, right? So for example, if I have like, if I have let's say I have 40. No. We'll do it from his perspective. Let's say I have 100 arcane resistance. Okay, that should be a 25% damage reduction, and what that'll do is it'll cause sheep to have a 25% what's it called? Chance to resist, like fully resist. Like you cast a sheep and it gets fully resisted 25% of the time. It'll actually be 25% plus 5% because there's always a base chance to resist. I do believe of like 5%. So I think it'll be like for binary spells. So I think it'll be like closer to like 30%. And of course, there's also like a 5% chance the spell misses. But for some reason, like I guess when you go over hit cap, it starts hacking away at that. When you put those 5 talent points in the arcane tree, it starts hacking away at that as well, and very quickly your sheeps no longer get resisted. But as you saw, it does absolutely nothing to stop the heartbeat duration effect. Like my heartbeat duration is improving. Like as I said in the video before, I was breaking out like sometimes super early, sometimes in the middle. Rarely did it go below 29 seconds. And then here I was breaking out at like 34-ish seconds rather consistently, or faster, but I didn't get that on video. Um, so yeah, so I'll have to continue doing testing with the whole Arcane Resist thing. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of videos. So when I posted this, people, I guess I have a lot of new people to the channel, and a lot of them have not watched my Paladin versus Mage Guide. It's the only one in the world. Nobody else has ever made a Paladin versus Mage Guide for Classic World of Warcraft. So they don't really know like the basics of how to fight against a mage. Like for example, you're supposed to when you get out of the sheep, because they frostbolted you in the face, right? You're supposed to freedom and then run away in a straight line for 1.5 seconds, and then go for a flash of light, and then you eat the counter. You get hit with a counter spell, and then you just keep running away in a straight line, and suddenly mages can't kill you anymore. That's what basically you're supposed to be doing. But there's all kinds of other little tactics and Season of Discovery that you can do with spell pushback and so forth and so on. So, for example, you can just run straight at a mage in Season of Discovery, and even if they have their full shield up, which has no spell power behind it, so it only has like 820 HP, you can just run at them, and even if they're spamming sheep on you, you can hit them with an exorcism. And wait a minute, let me think about that. Yeah, if you can't get, I guess that's how that works. Oh, is that even how that works? You can cover 12 yards plus. Yeah. So okay, that makes sense. So you can't just run at them, unless your exorcism punches through and causes 1 second of spell pushback. Unless you want to use Divine Steed, of course, or something else of that nature, which I don't advise. But when you start rolling with like eye for an eye, or you start having a holy shock fed into the equation, you can actually punch through that shield relatively easily and effectively. And it's even worse if you have like a chance to do multiple exorcisms, but I'll talk about that. But you can literally cover the 30 yards to the mage, and like actually like get a hodgestone on him / bitch slap him, which is while they're basically spamming sheep. It's actually really fascinating. Basically, how it works is your first exorcism makes it a 2.5 second spell cast, and that is enough time for you to easily get within judgment range, or incidentally holy shock range if the exorcism didn't punch at the shield. The holy shock, no, that doesn't quite work either, does it? Interesting. Yeah, so you'd have to do the 30-yard hover mechanic. I'm trying to suss it out. But I have tested that at certain ranges, it becomes incredibly easy for a paladin to literally cover the distance, and they can't quite make it on exorcism alone, but the judgment causes another 0.5 seconds of spell pushback. She's not on a GCD. And that's where your hodgestone just comes in, and then they have to blink away from you, and then it gets funny and interesting from there. But yeah, so I'm going to end the video here, and Deus Vult boys, just know that you're not going to be fighting mages initially with arcane resistance. That's a terrible, terrible idea. The gearing of arcane resistance for a paladin, unless you're using a magic resist potion, leaves you literally with like 4,400 HP. It's absolutely terrible. So what you'd end up doing is you would fight them in a more traditional manner, which I'll make videos on, and you'll wear down their mana bar over time because you have a lot more defensive abilities. And when their mana bar drops to about 50% or 30% or somewhere around there, you'll take the opportunity to switch into an arcane resist suit. And at that point, the sheeps won't work anymore, and you should just be able to run them over. From a dueling perspective. From a non-dueling perspective, you literally just find your magic resist potion and you tap it and you start laughing at them. Alright, well, I'm going to end the video here, and Deus Vult boys.